Hey everybody, this is Fago Franklin III with New Stitch Media. I'm here with Hall of Famer Andre Reed. First and foremost, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right, despite all the technical difficulties we've had. So,
I know, man. Thank you for sticking with me, man. Thank you
of
for the
course,
patience.
man, that's what we have to be, bro. We gotta keep moving forward. If things aren't working, we got to keep working at it. And you can't fault somebody trying for, especially what's going on right now. We got to keep trying and keep trying to get the right mix of doing things, man. That's really what's going on. So.
Amen to that. So, how have you been adapting with the pandemic going on?
I think just like anybody else, the first couple months were pretty tough. First 2, 3 months, just getting acclimated to all the things going around you, all the things going on around you that you were so used to doing, and they were just either completely shut down, or you had to rearrange your schedule or whatever. You couldn't travel. Just your routine. Basically, your routine was in a bind. During this whole 5 months. The last maybe month and a half, 2 months, a lot of states have opened up some things, and people have been able to get outside, and we still got to do the social distancing and the mask and all that. But it seems like people, just what's going on besides the pandemic, people don't even think of it anymore to a certain point. I mean, there's other things that have been issues in this world with social racial inequality, and a lot of our heroes have passed. Kobe, and just a couple of days ago, Chadwick Boseman. A lot of things have gone on in 2020 where a lot of people really just, if you could start it over, they'd want to start over 2020. But obviously, that's not going to happen, and we just gotta keep moving forward. With everything, sports has been interrupted in a big way. People's routines with going to work and then watching sports on the weekends have been disrupted. So a lot of adjustments had to be made in the last 5 months, and it has done a number on a lot of people, economically, emotionally, mentally, everything. So, but we live in America, man. America is it's been very hard the last 5 months with everybody. Families have been torn apart. People have passed, and because of this pandemic, and we just got to stick together as people, man. And I don't know if we're even doing that. With all the stuff going on every other week, it seems like every other month something's happening where when we want to get together, that's dividing us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you use your platform to talk about these different issues? Because it seems like we're kneeling, we are wearing shirts, we're wearing, don't kill XYZ, Black Lives Matter. But does it really matter? How are we supposed to actually, change things when it doesn't seem like things are changing?
Yeah, well, things of this nature that are so big, not just in this country, but big around the world, it's going to take a lot more than protests and a lot more than, talking about it from people's standpoint. We have to get our leaders that are way, way bigger than us to really, put their foot down and try to help the American people. That's the only way change is going to happen. All the sports people, and we can say as much as we want, but until some change is made, really it's just all some rhetoric that we've heard before. And until we see an absolute change in policies and things of that nature and all that, I'm not saying we're wasting our time. We'll revisit this. Maybe we might revisit this again, and it's up to our people empowered to make those decisions and really put the American people at the forefront of what's going on, because it has divided us. It has people have lost their lives because of it in a way, but we're hearing a lot of things happening that maybe aren't true and are true. So what is the truth? And that's where we stand.
Mm-hmm. So I know we have football in the next couple of weeks. What teams are you excited with watching?
Well, I watch my Bills. My Bills. I'm
Oh, of course.
I'm a red, white, and blue. I bleed it. I'm always talking about the Bills every single season, whether it be good or bad. People out here in San Diego have asked me, what's your favorite team is, and people that know me wouldn't ask that question, of course. But
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think um, the Bills right now are in a position to do some big things this year. Obviously, the pandemic has put everybody at ground zero. There's nobody that's going to be above anybody else. They've had to go through their own adjustments, getting ready for a season in a week and a half with no preseason games. Rookies are at a kind of behind the eight ball when it comes to playing time. But again, everybody is starting at the same starting line. Nobody's ahead of anybody. So it'll be interesting to see how sports is this year, especially in football. We've seen basketball in the bubble and what has happened and what's going on with basketball and baseball and all the other sports. But, football is going to be a different bird to see how the guys react without fans. Most stadiums and teams are not going to have fans the first maybe one or two games. I know the Bills don't. They just announced, I think, a couple of days ago, they're not having fans the first two home games. So uh, it'll be a big adjustment for players who are, so used to getting that energy from the fans. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, and the bottom line is it's still football, regardless if there's no fans there or 60 to 70,000 fans there. But it'll be a mental adjustment for a lot of guys who really rely on that energy to get the energy from somewhere else.
What advice can you give some of these rookies that are starting this year?
Yeah. Um, being patient is a big thing in life. It's a big thing in sports and in any other, uh, any other game or any other, different sport in basketball, baseball. Being patient is very important right now. Um, a lot of these rookies, and I talked to a couple of the rookies with the Bills this year so far already, that patience is a virtue. You got to be very, very patient, and when you're out there, you got to realize that you only have so much time to impress. And again, not having preseason games, you can't really impress. So a lot of teams have had scrimmages over the past week and a half, and that'll be the only time you can impress until you get to the game situation. So just take advantage of your situation, and when the play's there, make the play, and realize that you only can control what you can control. You can't control what anybody else does. So I think that's the best advice you can give rookies all around the league this year.
What advice? I mean, not what advice, but where do you think, or what do you think the Bills need to improve on to get to that next level with making it further in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, I think they've done a great job the past 3-4 years ever since they got a new head coach in Sean McDermott, a really good GM that knows talent in in Brandon Beane. I'm really excited. I've always been excited about the pick they picked in the draft in the first round with Josh Allen a few years back. I think he's grown, mature. He's matured as a player. He's matured as a person, and this is a quarterback-driven league. So you need a guy at the helm that can not only weather the storm, but that can put the ball in the end zone when it needs to be put. Last year was a big year for them. I think definitely they should have won that Houston game in the playoffs, but it's a learning experience. And playing in 21 playoff games over my career, we learned every single playoff game what we did good and what we didn't do good. So I think they're on the right path. They're picked to win the division this year, but they're just picked to win the division. They're not, they still got to play. Tom Brady's not there this year, and I'm sure a lot of guys don't really care about if Tom Brady's there or not. But it is a big plus for the division. But I'm very excited. They got a good nucleus of guys. A couple guys are coming off of injuries on the defensive line. They're going to help. And They picked up Zach Moss there in the draft from Utah to go with Devin Singletary this year as a running back mate. I really like their receiver core. Two rookies this year that have been watching, have had pretty good training camps and are going to do big things for them. So they got all the puzzle pieces there to contend and be a good team there in that division. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So I see that you have a foundation, with Reed 83. Tell me a little bit about that and what inspired that foundation.
Well, I was first and foremost, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club of America. I was a club kid for 10 years and really was taught a lot of values and different aspects of having confidence in yourself, having a passion for what you want to do, believing that no matter what situation you're in, there's always going to be a little slot for you to get in to better yourself. And that's what I tell these kids in these clubs, that it really doesn't matter the color of your skin economically. If you're not economically above everybody else, you just got to be driven in your heart, and somebody's got to believe in you besides you believe in yourself. And you can be anything you want to be. There's nothing that when you're born, there's a paper that says, where you were born, your name. It doesn't say on your birth certificate, you don't have the ability to be anything you want to be. So that's the mindset that I want these kids to have, that you can be a champion in life, no matter what. And don't let anybody tell you can't do anything, because you can.
I know you're a man of faith. How has your faith helped you out when there's hard times and helped you overcome obstacles in your life?
Tremendously. 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, my life really changed. I have a different perspective in life. I'm a lot better person. I really believe that, we are here for a purpose. And when I went to Israel and got baptized in the Jordan River in 2017, I think that, the God and Jesus really pointed me towards that way. And I was blessed to be able to be baptized and be able to see where Jesus walked and his teachings and all that kind of thing. It really put a lot on my heart that we're here for a reason, number one. And, we have to repent of our sins. And we always got to realize that he loved us no matter what, and do the right thing and kind of, walk in his footsteps and do what he would do. And that has really changed me up here more than anything. And, that's the way I'm trying to live my life now. I got a long way to go. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I know I have that backing of him, knowing that regardless of what goes on, he's going to have my back all the time.
What does it mean to you that people admire you on and off the field, as well as what you do in the community?
I don't need a medal. I don't need a pat on the back. I just right now I want to do God's purpose, and that's helping kids and inspiring kids to be the best they want to be. As far as my football career goes, that was a God-given talent. I came from an interracial family, growing up in the mid '70s in a small town called Allentown, Pennsylvania. I was bullied. I was in foster care, in and out for about 3-4 years. I had some difficult trials in my life, but I think God had something for me, and he was pointing me towards it through all these little things that were going on in my life. And, it's a great story. And I realized somebody else had it worse than me. If you look at a lot of athletes in their stories, some of them had stories like mine. Some of them had way worse stories. They've overcome a lot of things in their lives to get to where they're at. And I think it's a teaching point for kids that, again, this is how life is. Life is just not, rolling through a meadow and picking flowers all the time. You're going to go through some different curves. You're going to go through some hills, and uh, you're going to go through some ups and downs. That's just this is how life goes, and you got to be able to weather that storm and keep moving forward.
What did sports as well as football teach you with just being an individual?
Again, just being resilient,
Mm-hmm.
never quitting. My dad always taught me that number one, to be tough. And as a football player, that's what I did. I got hit across the middle and all that kind of thing, and be resilient. Realize that there's going to be obstacles, and you just never quit. Don't ever give in. And if you listen to a lot of different speeches from a lot of guys in sports and entertainment, Denzel Washington is one guy that says, put God first and never quit, never settle for being mediocre. And that's, I think that's a mantra I want to live by. God's given me so many different qualities, so many different gifts that now I'm trying to give these gifts back to others. And, that's my mission.
What advice can you give a lot of people around the world right now about taking the leap of faith, even though we don't know what exactly is going on in the world right now or where we're going to be at in the next couple of years or either months? What advice can you give them to stay encouraged and be positive and have a positive mindset?
That's it. Positive mindset. When I do a speech to the Boys and Girls Club kids, I tell them to have a champion mindset and being positive all the time. It's hard to be positive in the world we're living in because there's so much negativity around us. That's just the natural progression, is to be negative because we're all in this together. We hope we are, and it seems like we're in a hole, and everybody just keep throwing rocks on us or throwing dirt on us. Sooner or later, people are going to stop throwing dirt on us, and sooner or later, you're going to be able to crawl out of that hole and be who you want to be. So don't ever give up. Don't ever give in, and realize there's a purpose for you. That's what God says. There's a purpose for you. I have a purpose for you, and keep reliving, keep moving towards that purpose.
What are your top 5 quarterbacks right now that you love watching?
Top 5 quarterbacks. When people ask me about, give me a list of your top 5 guys or top 10 guys, I always just I don't randomly say that. I think everybody's top 5 is probably either all the same or something similar. Obviously Patrick Mahomes has done tremendous things there in Kansas City, and has that city on his back and has that football team on his back. And I think Andy Reid is a heck of a coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach, and they fit in just right together, just like a Brady and a Belichick would. So Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Thomas there in Baltimore, exciting player, dynamic player, really took another step last year as a passer in the league. Big things are always, he was pretty much the most watched guy last year in the league as an MVP. He was the MVP of the league. So Russell Wilson is always, my top 3, if you want to say it. Steady, has a Super Bowl, really has a command of, what the quarterback position is and how to rally his team if they're down. Aaron Rodgers is just a consummate pro, a lot of years in the league, got a Super Bowl or 2. And you never can count Tom Brady out. 6 Super Bowls. I mean, he has a resume bigger than any other football player in history. So, those 5 guys are really what the sport's about. And then you add the Deshaun Watsons, even Josh Allen right now, who's an up-and-coming guy. A guy like Kyler Murray in Arizona. People are looking for big things from him this year. I'm probably missing a few guys, but those are probably guys that every Sunday you want to see what they do.
Do you think, in your honest opinion, that Antonio Brown is actually going to have another shot with getting back into the NFL? And what does he have to improve on with becoming one of those wide receivers that we're accustomed to seeing when he first started in the NFL?
As far as him coming back, I really don't know. There's been some bites here and there. I guess he's had a couple people look at him. Maybe. I mean, I really don't follow Antonio Brown as much as maybe a lot of people, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, do. I think before all this stuff went on with him, this guy was the number one receiver in the game. And for whatever reason, he started going down a path that you don't want to go down. And I think if he had another shot, I think he'd do it differently. And he would atone for all the things that he's done. I think he has, in a way. I think people throw him under the bus. I mean, as a brother, as a guy that has played the sport and played my position, I'm always in his corner. I think he has a lot of, if you want to say, soul searching to do within himself. If he wants to get back in the league and be that guy again. But the clock is ticking, for him. But I hope he gets back in the league. I hope he gets back and he can atone for a lot of things on the field with the football world and his teammates and his family and everybody else. But generally, I think he deserves another chance. And I think if he does get one, I think he will definitely do it totally different than he did when he left.
And my last question is, what are the two Super Bowl teams besides the Bills that you would love to see in the Super Bowl?
Well, I'd say the Bills and the Chiefs, but obviously they have to play for the championship, so one would be eliminated. The Bills probably, in the NFC, probably the 49ers or the Seahawks, from that division. I think
Arizona Cardinals?
The 49ers and the Seahawks. I mean, Arizona, they got D-Hop now, so I think that's a dynamic that Kyler Murray can exploit. Arizona is going to be a very surprise team this year. So I think people need to, don't count them out. That's going to be probably, to me, the toughest division in football is the NFC West with Seattle, San Fran, and the 49ers.
And who you think is
Arizona?
And who you think is going to get it done in the NFC South? Do you think Drew Brees is going to actually have a better season than Tom Brady, or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. Every time they play each other this year, that's going to be a primetime game for sure. Two of the greatest quarterbacks the game has ever seen as far as stats go. And again, I said about what Brady has done with Super Bowls and all that. Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So you might not see that again. Those two on the field together against each other. It's like a Peyton Manning against Tom Brady. That was a battle every time the Colts played the Patriots. And it was sad to see the last time they played each other. Those are things that you don't see too much. So Brees and Brady, little bit of a battle this year, and then maybe 1 or 2 years after that, you might not see that again.
Amen. Thank you, Andre, for definitely coming on the show and speaking with me. Hopefully this year I get to see you back at the Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember, but we met at the Super Bowl in Miami this year.
In Miami? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Yeah, man. I was in Tampa this year, so, who knows? Again, people have asked me this question: do you think if something really goes down with the COVID-19 pandemic or the virus during the football season, do you think the football season will be shut down? And, I'm kind of 50-50 on that because they're not in a bubble like basketball. Baseball has had its problems this year trying to restart, but football is a different bird. So I'm right on the fence of if something happens during the season that they just won't shut the whole season down. And
What
that
you
would
think about
be,
the NFL draft? Do you think it's going to kind of be pushed away because you have some of the college football teams starting now and next year?
that's a big question for the commissioner. I have no idea. Everything has been, um, kind of, it's on a little slidey, windy road right now. It's not a straight and narrow. So I think when that comes up, I think the commissioner and the league will have to make a decision on that, or how they're gonna deal with it. Um, Obviously, guys that played their senior year, they feel they've been, some they've been canceled. Some, like the Pac-10 and the Big Ten, and some of these conferences have canceled football. So um, there's a lot of questions to be answered when it comes to the college game of this year too. So they have a lot of questions to answer coming up next year.
Amen to that. But it's definitely been a pleasure, and we'll definitely talk soon, my friend.
You got it, man. Nice seeing
All
you.
right, now. Have a blessed
All
one.
right. Be
All right,
safe.
now. You too. Bye bye.
All right.